Welcome back. In today's video, we shall take a look at standing waves. Assume we have two sinusoidal waves with the same amplitude and wavelength, as shown in this figure. However, the first one moves to the left and the second one moves to the right, so they move in opposite directions. When they interfere, the resultant wave would be a wave with twice the amplitude of the original ones. So in this case, the amplitude would be 2a. Another feature, since they were traveling with the same speed in an opposite direction, this resulting pattern is what we call the standing wave. Let's analyze the mathematical aspect of all this. Assume that the wave that is traveling to the left has the following equation: y equals a sine kx plus omega t. The one moving to the right would have a sine kx minus omega t. So they are identical waves. The only difference is in the direction of motion. Let's see what happens when you add the two functions. The first function can be expanded using trigonometrical identities in the following manner. It's going to be sine kx cosine omega t plus cosine kx and sine omega t. I'm using the abbreviation S for the sine and C for the cosine. Likewise, for the wave that is traveling to the right, the expression for y can be written as a, expanding the sign, sine kx cosine omega t. Now it's going to be minus cosine kx sine omega t. So when you add these two functions, you see the second part, or the second terms, of these two expressions will cancel out. So the remaining terms will just add up, becomes 2a sine kx cosine omega t. That was the resulting standing wave pattern that we talked about a few minutes ago, with the amplitude of 2a. Standing waves have a nice mathematical feature. The x-dependent is nicely separated from the time-dependent, like that. This wave right here that is described by this equation is a standing wave because it is not described by an equation of a following form. Such a description is unique to traveling waves. That's why in earlier individual waves that interfered, the y is described by sine function with argument kx plus minus omega t, signifying the original two components were traveling waves traveling in an opposite direction, and when they interfere, they create a standing wave, like that. Zero amplitude points are known as nodes. So these are nodes. Halfway between adjacent nodes are antinodes, such as marked with cross right there. These are points where amplitude of the resultant wave is maximum. This pattern here is called the standing wave because the wave pattern doesn't move left or right. The locations of the maxima and minima do not change. Let's try to find the position of the nodes. These are points with zero amplitude, so that means this portion of that equation must be zero. In other words, sine kx has got to be zero. That means kx has got to be n times pi. N here can be 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. Rearranging, we see x equals to n pi over k. So this locates the position of notes. Let's look at the following problem. A string oscillates according to the following equation. So as you can see, the position part is separated from the time part, signifying that this refers to a standing wave. What are the amplitude and speed of the original two waves that were identical except for the travel direction that produced the given oscillation above? C. Find the distance between the notes. And D. What is the transverse speed of a particle of the string at the following position and at that time? So part A is easy. The 0.6 cm is 2 times the original amplitudes. So that means the original amplitudes, or the amplitudes of the original two waves, would be 0.3 centimeters. Part B, speed of the two waves. The original two waves that were moving in an opposite directions were traveling waves with some speed v. And this speed v is given as omega over k, as we have seen from our previous video, where omega is the angular frequency and k is the wave number. How do we find omega? Omega, or the angular frequency, is the number that multiplies the time. So in this case, it is 40 times pi. And wave number is the number that multiplies x. So in this case, it is pi over 3. So solving, we get 40 pi times 3 over pi. Pi goes away, and you get 120 cm per second. Part C, distance between nodes. Remember earlier, for nodes, kx equals an integer times pi. In this case, your k is pi over 3. So pi over 3 times x equals n pi. So pi goes away, and you see the positions of nodes is given by 3 times n, meaning the note that corresponds to n equals to 1 occurs at x equals to 3, and the note that corresponds to n equals to 2 occurs at x equals to 6. So that means the distance between these is 6 minus 3, which is 3 centimeters. And that's the answer for part C. Now let's look at part D. Transverse speed of a particle of the string at the position x equals to that and t equals to that. This is a standing wave, so we can anticipate the answer to be 0. Let us show that to be the case. Now we know y equals to 0.6 sine pi over 3x cosine 40 pi times time. So in order to find the transverse speed of a particle on the string, you need to take the partial derivative of that y with respect to time. And that's going to be, the position parts will just follow further right in the derivative. This one will become minus 40 pi sine 40 pi t. So that is the expression for the transverse speed, del y del t. Now let's substitute x to be 1.5 in here and t to be 1.125 in there. The first part, the sine part, when you substitute x to be 1.5, it will give you sine pi over 2. Sine 90 degrees is 1. When you substitute t to be 1.125 in this expression, you get sine 40 times pi times 1.125. And the argument of that sign becomes 45 pi. So sine 45 pi is indeed 0. That would give you 0 for part D as the answer. That solves the problem. Thank you for watching.